Welcome back to Railroads Online. I am River. We're down here by the sawmill. We're up here by the sawmill. I guess it's kind of in the middle of the map. Here by the sawmill. And we have 18 fully loaded cars. If you watched the end of the last episode, this will be one of our last trips to supply things to the oil refinery. Though we do need to do a couple other things, like go pick up the oil barrels and bring them up to the thing. And I also I want to get some cordwood and deliver it to the thing. And that'll be pretty much the end of this Make 200 Barrels series. So if you guys have any ideas for what to do next, let me know. If some things you would like to see. I think maybe we could extend, the length of these cars where it makes sense, kind of push things a little bit further than we may have. If you look, we're leaving ourselves in good shape for the next round where we have 43 lumber. I have 27 logs in the pond over there, and then we have 100 beams. So we're in good shape. But I think we should get this train rolling. We were actually letting it warm up a little bit, whether you knew that or not. I think our switches are in the right direction. Heading back out of here, we probably have to switch it down by the all-way intersection, but we're in good shape. I think. We'll find out, huh? Oh, come on, F. Yeah, 33. That's plenty of wood to make it down to the thing. Let me do my V and get out a little bit further. See if we can't see if all these train cars come with us. I didn't set the brakes or anything, but we do have an uphill over on the other side, so we should have stayed bunched up without any issues. So hopefully that's true. It looks like all the cars are coming. They were lined up with I could just see that one crane, so I'm pretty sure it's all of them. I can't obviously see beyond the sawmill. Come out of here at 11's good enough. I was going to say 14. I really wish they would give us. Oh, there it was. I had 14, then I messed it up. Now I can't get it back. 16. All right, we'll see how 16 does. I don't want to go too fast. But we've been in and out of here pretty well with bigger trains, so I don't think we'll have too many issues with our 18 cars. That's 108 lumber is what we're bringing down there. And while we're heading down there, I just wanted to take a minute and thank all of you guys who've supported the series with your views, likes, subscriptions, and comments. I don't even mean, you're going to make me the biggest YouTube channel, which, hey, I like when more people watch for obvious reasons, like any other human being would. But just, from my heart, I really do appreciate it. It's kind of why I do it. I think that even the big YouTubers, have the same feelings towards people that watch their stuff and their content, and we can enjoy it together. I know I watch plenty of YouTube people like myself, and they give me a lot of entertainment and information. And even if they're not as good at the game as I am, I still learn things. I still see how not to do things. They're entertaining, and I'm glad that I can entertain you. It's a neat feeling if you've never done it. And I do appreciate the feedback that you guys give and that you are here today. So thank you very much. For my favorite kind of fans are the ones that watch the very last of a series, which I believe this may be. We have to keep an eye on the time. And like I said, if you have any suggestions for what we might do in the future, things that you'd like to see, I definitely noticed that people like the train driving in some ways more than the rail building, to a degree. I think that the rail building can get kind of stale, and the train driving is just its own kind of fun. It's neat to see the trains driving. I don't even mind half the time when I get stopped by a train, unless I'm in a real hurry, like in real life. Just watching the train cars thunk to thunk by, is kind of cool usually. Just seeing train operations is a neat thing. One thing I wanted to mention, it's not real clear and obvious. Let's see if I can give this a little without it getting too loud. If you haven't watched the Workers and Resources series, and I know there's some, all kinds of reasons, a very different game than this that you might not, it does become more of a train-based kind of game. So if there is any interest that you'd have, maybe check in a few more episodes. In a couple weeks, we should start getting into trains, and that's really is kind of a big part of Workers and Resources, just a very sandboxy game where you start out having to build with a lot less, right? And you build up your map. Now, there are maps that already have cities and towns in them, but you still have to build up all the things. Anyway, consider watching that. I'm not just saying it as a plug. Just, if you if you enjoy train games, that is kind of half of a train game, or maybe even more. So, but not in the likes of this. This is neat, especially with your design your own train tracks. Now, one other thing is I really want to fix this track from here all the way down to the switch by getting rid of this goofiness. And then if you kind of picture in your head, we're heading pretty much due south, I think, right now. I want to straighten this whole thing out. So this might be like a more gradual turn, but it would head over to the left a little bit more, right? It wouldn't come back quite so far to the right. It would head straight down there, which would mean redoing the intersection that takes us up to the depot, which I don't think would be too big a deal. But you'll see when we get to the other end, it would make a lot of sense to come, like this is straight out of the all-way turn. We can kind of come like straight up through here. Still there. Let's glide on that way. I don't want this last episode. It could be the last episode. Let's see what happens, like I said. But I don't want to. I don't want to end. We can go a little slower, right? See how this is? Well, maybe not quite that, but we could turn that out of there and have it be a lot further over this way, right? And then come off of there. Does that make sense? So instead of turning out this way and then turning back, just kind of make that a lot more straight, not straight, but more straight. So this will be the biggest train we've brought over onto this leg, which I don't think is going to be a big problem, though. Having more experience now, I think I would have done a few things different. I think we need a more gradual slope going in there. I think that makes it a little bit hair-raising. Trying to get up that hill with speed and then cut it off at the end, like make that tight turn. It's all uphill, so doesn't have that same in the gut feeling that these downhills tend to give me. Right, is that kind of braking? No, we're on the straight. Usually if you're on the straight, you can get away with some braking. Now I did flip on the way up here before we started a segment or whatever we did last time. I did flip those two switches, so we should be in good shape. I should have looked at my fire before I got out. Yeah, let's give it. I might as well give it 5. A little tiny bit wasteful, but not really. There we go. There's our ironworks. So this should be an interesting drop-off. The most laborious drop-off that I've done so far, right? Very labor-intensive. We're going to have to drop off like 2 cars at a time. What other thing that I would like to do that I kind of remember to make this easier, especially because we now have... Let's not get carried away here with this turn. Let's just give it a little bit less until we get out of there. We're going at a nice clip for that sharp of a turn. That's just cool looking. And I built it. All right, I hope you're as happy with your maps as I am with mine. And like I said, I just got done complaining about how I didn't like that. Well, that makes me happy. I'd have a project. Got a rail fixing project to do at some point in the future, near future, whatever future. All right, so I think we're probably around that turn by now. Let's try to get some speed up to get up this hill easily. definitely make this straighter, like right up in there, more gradual, like, you know, a little bit more of a gradual slope up. I think if you went off to this side where these trees are, you could do that. I don't know why I did all that, and I think that would even make it make more sense down here, right? Because we could come in this way, and then like up, see that hill? Like we could go up that hill and further over here, so this turn could be less sharp. And yeah, I think there's a lot of room for improvement right there. Let's slow down a little bit. Just such a sharp turn right here. Like if we brought it in over to the left, from the left more, we could just make that a lot more gradual coming in here. I think there's plenty of room over that way to do such a thing. No mountains anyway. So how do we make it around this turn with 18 cars? A little tiny bit of jumpiness, I guess you'd call it. They're not derailing, which is the name of this game. Well, it's not the name of the game. Derail Valley has that, but certainly derailing has been a thing for me. I've had my share of derailing. My favorite is the old driving into the V the wrong way. That's by far and away the favorite way. I like right there, like boom, boom. Oops. Second favorite is these turns, you know, like just tight turns get you. And the stopping and the braking. So I would have to say, for me, most of the derails have been my fault. I hate to admit it in some ways, but... And that's not to say the game doesn't have its mechanics that can contribute to it, or, you know, just other things that happen unexpectedly, but... Looking back on it and trying to be honest about it, yeah, there's almost no doubt that I could have avoided quite a few if I had just checked my switches and paid more attention. Even as I got better at it, I would then find new ways to not flip my switches all the time. And sometimes you guys didn't see as much of it because it would be when I was like unloading things a little bit similar. Now we need to get this a little bit of break. Let those train cars bunch up so they don't... Yeah, we're kind of behind the 8-ball on braking. Right, since I can't really see too well. Let's get rid of some trees. Have to cut some trees in the last episode, right? This whole thing was about cutting trees for a little while. They came along and took off all the trees, so... that were close to the track, so that ended a lot of the tree cutting that I was going to end up doing, which I guess is good. How's our money? Look at that, after all these episodes, you know, not just the 16 or 17, whatever I'm up to on this barrels of oil, but all the other episodes before that. The other thing I think I remember is that this is not, I can go back further than I want to go back, right? So I think I'd like to see if I can't. Let's just see if I can demolish groundwork. All right, and then can I put this up there when these things are in the way? Oh, not constant. I want variable so I can make it flat on the top. Yeah, you know, I go right from there. Yeah, so I just want to bring it a little bit closer. That should be maybe right there, right? Then we'll bring it down. So the reason for the variables to make that. So I think, so just guessing the length of a car, right? I don't want the car to really, like I'm trying to get so I can get 2 in here and then just back it up against here. All right, so I would think that if I put that, like, oops, well, let's just try. I can't go any shorter than this, so. Don't really. Let's get rid of that, right? So let's see how that is with these first cars. Like, so if I just bump right into that first car should be like right here with the middle of it and should be on there. And I'm hoping this second car will be on there because, like doing one at a time is just pretty painful. Oops, we need to. The whole reason I got out is to flip this. And then this one needs to be flipped because we're still set up to go to the oil. And then much like the last episode, I won't put you guys through the 45 minutes. I don't know. Any bets on how long it'll take me to unload this guy? Let's see. How's our fire doing? Good enough to back up anyway. Not like we're going far. Nope. Let's go the right direction. Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to do like mechanical failures. Like what happens in real life if you throw that reverser in the opposite direction? All right, I would think that, like is it like the transmission in your car where if we're going down the highway even at a slight speed of 20 and you threw it in reverse, you would no longer have a transmission. You'd have bits and pieces of gears and or is it okay to flip that reverser? Because it's I guess it depends on what it's doing, but I wouldn't think it would be very good for it to do what I just did. And it'd be kind of cool if that would break your train. Then again, I guess you'd have to have a repair thing, which would be kind of cool, especially if you could teleport. One of the things that I'm impressed with about this as a single player is that we have done all of this stuff with such a minimum amount of me running around. The worst thing times I've had to run around through all of my playing is when I've gotten stuck in things, right? Then I found out later on that wasn't even necessary. All right, are we going slow enough? I think so. Are we going to hit that thing soon? Yeah, let's make sure. Got to be close. I just don't want it to derail. Yeah, there we go. I think. Yeah. Nice. So we're back up against it. Let's go see if that stopped us in just the right place to do two cars. Because there's no way around this, I don't think. There's no bridge like with the smelter that we can get past it, right? Yeah, this is the middle right there, and that is on the platform. So let's see what we get here. We went by it. So for a second, until we start making some more oil, we should have 11, which, we put in 12, and I guess one already got processed, but that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is just pull up, and I'm going to have to keep flipping switches like I did before. I don't think it matters which way we go here. So I'm just going to pull it in just that way, and I'm just going to have to pull up and do every single one. So it's just going to be back and forth. Now, is it better to do it, like I said, in two separate chunks? Maybe you guys have done it either way, and I'm going to try it this way. And meaning, like, if we broke the train off, we could leave some of the train maybe up there. I guess maybe we could think about making that longer in the future. I don't know. Yeah, this is the old reverse. You got to get over the momentum that doesn't exist. Like in a super duper 75% way. But there we go. So I'm just going to keep pulled forward. I'm going to flip this switch. I'm going to back in. I'm going to leave off these two cars, and then I'm going to go do it again and again. So in real life, this is 7:08, right? So let's see how long before I come back. I'll try to remember to mention how long this has taken. But I will see you guys in a few minutes. think the Betsy is pretty much ready to go. We're up to water temperature 87, so let's give it a shot. I think we'll get up the rest of the way, obviously, pretty quickly. Let's make sure all our cars are coming. I did take the brake off of that last car while I was logging back in. So we should be in pretty good shape. Yeah, these are definitely OP in a sense. But we'll keep them to small cars, or small numbers of cars, and I don't think it's that unrealistic at that point. I wonder if they'll nerf it. We'll see. I think it would benefit the game, honestly, because it would kind of give it a more sense of having to go get other locomotives. Maybe they're waiting until they have a few more options. It might make it a little tough in the beginning if this thing wasn't as powerful as it is for new people who don't know what they're doing with the track lane. And I was thinking about it too. I definitely like this whole loop idea. This certainly makes life a lot easier. However, I just don't see how you're going to do it for a large portion of the map, though I think you could probably do a lot more of this kind of looping than I did, at least in certain places. The map's a little bit limited in other places. It'd be kind of hard to do. Well, I guess you just have to do it your own way. You wouldn't follow the natural path of things that they have laid out. Have a little cleanup to do, don't I? Doesn't look very good, white. Maybe that's one thing we could do for another episode of the future, is just go around and fix some of those things. But I'm not sure how exciting that is to beautify it, but we could maybe do some of that. Straighten out some of those things on the southern tracks that we talked about. Those could certainly be a project for the rail repairs. Right, now did we load up that guy? No, good. I was wondering if we loaded up the cordwood train in the past, because I tend to be that type person at times, where I will, think ahead and take the extra time to do something like that, where you would fill that up. But I'm glad we didn't, because I don't want to. I guess we're going to probably take all the cars, even though we're not necessarily going to use them all. Because I don't really know what else to do with them besides building like a rail siding. Oop, I missed the button. Should be okay. Don't have to be that exact. Alright, well there we go. Our taxi is there. Oop, geez. Stuck. Alright, well now I have to load this thing up. So I guess I'll put a pause in the video. I don't have that much to say about loading cordwood on, other than I guess we're going to need, like I said, 5 cars worth should be good to refill the smelter. I don't really plan on having firewood at the refinery, so we don't need any more there, and there's none at the oil field, so we're just going to be going down there and then going back up to the depot. So I will just load up these 5 cars. We'll bring the empties. We'll have a few extra. I don't think that's the end of the world, because if you think about it, where would we put them? I mean, I could do like a rail siding kind of thing somewhere up here, but I don't know. Well, maybe in the future. Well, yeah, see, the other thing is we really don't need any more than 5 cars, because you can't hold more than 200 oil. Really, 220, well, I'm sorry, 248, right? Because you could have like enough lumber down there to do a few extra ones. Maybe you could really max it out by having a lumber train down there while you were filling this guy up. But then you're starting to get into really some high end wanting to not take extra trips, or I don't know. Would you make that many extra trips just to get all that extra stuff down to the oil refinery so you could just use more cars on this? So yeah, maybe one day we will put that on there, like a, just some kind of a rail siding where we could pull off and take some extra cars off of here. All right, well, let me finish doing this running back and forth, and I will be right back. Okay, we're all loaded up, ready to go, and I noticed we lost one of the cars I had pulled forward. And I also was sitting here thinking, which wasn't too long, obviously, just loading these cars doesn't take that much. But I think I would like to drop off the cars. Just, I don't know. It does seem like I'm being a little bit too... I do this in life. Maybe you guys do the same thing. When you get in a hurry, you end up doing things that you might not otherwise have done. Right? So there we go. We'll get rid of that. So we're going to relax. We're going to probably have another whole episode because of this decision. I think I was trying to... It's not that I want this to be the last episode in particular, but I was starting to rush towards that, right? We only have about 15 minutes or whatever it is left before we would end the episode, and I think I'd rather put in a little spur right here. Now, the problem will be that in order to do this, we'll have to come in one way or the other, right? Like we're facing the wrong direction to have it the spur one direction, right? So this isn't like a loop like the logs part, because one time you'll come in one way, the other time, unless you flip the switch, right? So we'll have to decide whether we'll do that. But in this case, putting the spur so that when we pulled in this way, we could back in and leave our stuff. And again, that's just going to mean we're going to have to flip that switch. So let's come down here, I think would be the best, and try to find a spot that's reasonably straight. And I think this is... Might have to redo this turn a little bit more, but I think I'm just going to cut in like right here. Let's demolish just the rails. Right. Yeah, we'll leave a little extra down that way, and we should be able to get it. I don't think it's going to line up perfectly, right? Because that wasn't straight. So... switch right, thing on the right. All right, I'm just going to try to... I think I may try to make it line up with that part. And we'll see what we can do behind us. The feeling... That looks pretty good here. Let's see what that does. I don't have to redo the whole turn, but I think I can get away with... Right, maybe even coming off of like right there and going straight. All right, because what I need to do is go straighter. So I think that we could have a little straight section, and that'll play right into what we just did there. See what I mean? Now the question will be, will I make the rest of the turn a little bit too sharp, or... Yeah, so that's going to be kind of sharp. Now this is just this one little train for now coming up here, but yeah, that's... I'm not sure that was... Yeah, now let's try it from this end. Maybe go back even one more. I don't know if that... Is that one more, or is that where I was? Yeah, let's see. Just because coming straight out of here makes a lot of sense. Now, part of it is the psychology of getting close to the edge. Let's turn that a little bit more as we go. Nice. I think that'll work. Track's a little bit off, but let's do some groundwork. Constant grade is fine. I'm going to Come here with a piece that I can delete. I'm going to go a little bit extra long because I usually put a stopper on there. It's going to be kind of hard to get a stopper here. You know what I could do actually is let's see. Let's do variable. All right, I'll do this first. No, you know what? I could do it second. What I want to do is maybe do it the opposite way that I normally do, which actually could make a lot of sense. Especially now that we have the demolish tool that would never accidentally get rid of my rails. I've always been doing it from the back towards the track, and there's actually not a particular reason I need to do that. I know that looks kind of silly. Maybe we come up with a better place to do this, but that whole other back behind, you know, the whole turn is a turn, so there's a statement of genius, right? The whole turn is a turn. So what I was thinking of is I could come from here. All right. Oops. The only problem I'm gonna, well, yeah, this is, I can't see what I'm doing. All right, that probably should be enough, and then I'm gonna go back down to here. Now, you'll be nice and short. I kind of cut it a little bit shorter than I might have wanted. All right, so like, because if I had tried to do that from down there, but the thing would have had to been like super duper long to get up this high. It's yeah, quite ugly. Let's try for better. I think I was on 5. Whoa, yeah. Probably go down. Yeah. There you go. Kind of all awkward in some ways with the hill, but I guess there's not too much you can do. What is this? Yeah, we can get rid of that. Yeah, I definitely have some cleaning up, huh? Like that over there. I don't want to delete it, not knowing exactly what it is, but that looks like that's not too great. Then we'll have a place over here. So say that took us that extra few minutes to do this, but like I said, why be in a rush? We can have another episode and take our time getting this cordwood down there, and that'll be the last part of this episode. And then the last trip, we'll go pick up our oil, and that'll definitely be the final for this, certainly for the oil series. And like I said, if you guys have any ideas, let me know on what you would like to see. I don't mind doing a few more episodes. I certainly enjoy the game enough. Now, I had put firewood. Oh, and another thing to mention, I forgot to mention it with the other porter. When it comes to putting wood in here, I'm having a hard time with the way that I normally do it. All right, so I think I picked up some wood. Yep, I can see it in my hand. So see, we have like no fuel. And my method of putting it in here, I did see a comment that they did something with the fireboxes in one of the last updates. But if I throw that piece of wood like I always have, I don't get any wood in there. I have to do the crouch thing. And I'd opened up the fire door, but if you look, boom, there you go. So we get a little bit. So how many do we have in there? I need one more because I missed that one. All right, that should be good. Yep, so we're filled up with 50 or close to 50 fuel. All right, what else do we need to do? Do we need to flip the flipper? Absolutely. Got to check the flipper. This is my number one way of flipping myself. Oh, yeah, look at this. We got a lot of ugliness here. Yeah, we need a beautification project. There we go. So see, when we come back, well, actually, we need to back up, don't we? Need to back up all the way over to there. Now, do we flip this switch the right way? We might be taking the other trip. Maybe we'll just take this trip in the next episode, which for me, I will record back to back. So I won't have gotten your comments before the next episode, but and that definitely looks long enough for 3 cars. And then we have to reattach that one. Yeah, so let's just do that, right? Because we're pretty close to the end anyway. We're not going to really have time to get down there, and the episode will start going longer. And then I don't think it's really going to take us that long to finish this up and get that oil sold. I say that, and then we'll probably have 3 catastrophes in a row next episode, but hopefully not. All right, so let's give her a little break, or give her a little juice, and yeah, and the brake was set on this last car, so I don't understand fully why we're not. And it should have been down. Oh, maybe it isn't downhill. Well, no, it should be level. We're going kind of fast. All right, there we go. So I don't really know exactly why that car wouldn't have attached. I didn't really look at it beforehand to see why it would have broken. Like it was. Then I didn't put the link in, and I can't get one. It's a favorite of mine. Well, part of it is I think I tried to leave all of the links, and now the game doesn't really respect the links as permanent objects. Like, why wouldn't there have been links in there? And I need to get that kind of habit out of my head, that the game respects the physics of links in that sense that, where did the link go, right? Like, not only did we not get attached, but we had no link at all, which maybe is part of the problem, right? Is that the reason that it didn't? Or was it just because it was too far, it didn't put the link in? And there's other things, the way the game does the links, that, like with the tenders, that it replaces the proper tender link with the other links. I think we should be there. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of this whole dropping off the cars? It feels like I was being a little bit too in a rush and lazy about it. If I wasn't going to drop these off, right? We've gone through setting up a whole circuit, and I think it certainly, when I was sitting there thinking about it, when I was loading the things up, I thought, I'm not always going to want to bring 8 cars with the little Porter number 2 over here. At times I am going to want to be able to bring just the 5 cars to go do a specific cordwood job, or maybe even less. There's really no reason for us to bring any more cars with us. So I don't know in real life would you have, accepted that. And here's what I was talking about. This is really where we should have that. Maybe I can extend that longer into here someday instead of having it look goofy on the side of the cliff. All right, but that is where it was straight too. So that's where it was easiest. So I'm being lazy again, I guess, right? But it wouldn't be that hard to redo. We'd have to redo this whole turn. All right, so let's slow down a lot. make sure they get them off of the regular track enough. Probably even want to do it, well, none of that's really that straight, and that's certainly enough. Now, are these pretty well? No, they're not really that bunched up. So let's go ahead and set. I'm just going to set all the brakes and then give them a good shove. All right, we can even disconnect that. And then I'm just going to push back a little bit. That should push them all together. And just, I don't think they're that far apart that they wouldn't reconnect anyway, but let's just see if we can't give them a good shove back. Yeah, it's probably good enough. And if they don't all come together, it's not the end of the world, right? Gotta love the shadows showing you when you're past things. All right, so what I want to do now is, because the next time I come in, I want to flip the flipper and be able to come past this point and then back in. So I want to flip that one so we can do that. And then I already flipped that one so we can go out this way. But we're going to wait for the next episode to do that. So we will take this train down there. Just sort of run out of time, and I'd rather not, especially not the last episode. Let's relax and have a nice train trip, I hope, together, and sell our 200 barrels of oil. How much money do we have? We have 7,700, so that's great. When we come back to do another episode, maybe we could do a Eureka thing. Hopefully they'll add some more content that'll definitely be worth coming back for. So, all right, well, let me know if you guys have some suggestions for the future. And I will see you in a couple days. We'll do the every other thing with the workers and resources, and we'll do it again. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon or morning, whatever it is where you are. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.